What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and I know I'm having a great day because YouTube was working. I didn't really have anything interrupted, but some people are having a pretty bad day on the internet because it looks like a pretty sizable portion of it just stopped working this morning. Yeah, that's right, man. I don't know what's up. For a long time, the internet seemed pretty secure, other than like Lizard Squad shutting down PlayStation every now and then, or like a hacking group shutting down Xbox. Everything seemed pretty secure. But this last year, things seem to be getting out of control, and this like little bit of an internet blackout here is just further confirming that, man. The internet is out of the Wild West time, and now we're into the 1920s, where people with mustaches are exploiting the workers. Except instead of like actual people, it's just now the internet actually is getting shut down randomly at times you don't expect. Really, the article that kind of piqued my interest, well, other than the fact that I just couldn't do some stuff that I wanted to do this morning on like one website, the internet outage that took down several major websites seems to be fixed. And listen, what's wild to me is like, it used to seem pretty out of place whenever a major website would go down. Like, I feel like whenever YouTube would go down, Twitter would go down, anything like that, it would be a major topic. People would be like, oh my goodness, can you believe that da-da-da-da-da was down? But honestly, what's weird is this article really doesn't seem that out of place anymore. Like, oh, several major websites were wiped out today. That's weird, but seems relatively normal place now. Considering that we're still coming out of the time where hackers literally shut down a pipeline and held a bunch of other companies hostage. I'm just kinda hoping that's not what's going on here either. But really, I don't know when it changed on the internet. Things just don't seem as stable anymore, dude. I would expect, certain websites to get taken down or go offline all the time. Like sketchy, don't click this link 84.com. Definitely wouldn't surprise me if that was able to get taken down pretty quickly. But some of the companies that were taken down in this were like massive multi-billion-dollar enterprises that you would expect to like be with the service provider that doesn't have these types of problems. Several major websites briefly went down on Thursday in a widespread outage linked to content distributor network Akamai. I'm trying. By about 12:50 p.m. Eastern Time, Akamai said it had fixed the issue and the service seemed back to normal. Akamai, whose operations helps data move around the internet, said on its website earlier Thursday that it was investigating an emergency issue with the Edge DNS service. Anytime that a service provider comes out and says that they're going to be investigating an issue, I'm going to assume it's just not a really good thing. I have one of the worst service providers in the country. It's not a data center, okay? I don't have like a website hosting thing or anything. But I have Cox Communications, all right? And let me tell you this. They are awful. If they ever tell me that they're looking into something, something's getting worked on, it's at least 2 days. Minimum. I mean, obviously, they got theirs up and moving pretty quickly. When I read off the companies that were involved, you'll understand why this one got resolved pretty quickly. But it's not out yet. The only thing that makes me really nervous about this is if it was ransomware. I think we're all aware right now that there's been a lot of those attacks recently. Like, all right, we're just going to shut this down unless you do this. Or like, no more YouTube unless, we get 60,000 Monero deposited to this account. Just really shady stuff has been going on with ransomware, and I'm gonna hope that that's not what's happening here. I will say, an issue with the DNS service could mean that, like, somebody just accidentally unplugged something, but it could also be something bigger. That's what's so worrying about computer situations like this. Most industries, it's pretty hard to hide the, like, scale of an accident, If you own an oil rig, it's pretty obvious. If the oil rig is working and not blowing up, then it's producing oil. And if oil is worth money, then you're doing well. Now, if it's broken and it's on fire, I'm going to assume you're not making oil. If every Uber driver got in a car accident, it would be really easy to tell that information. But you really don't know the depth of a technical problem until they, release everything about it. It could literally be as simple as somebody accidentally hitting a light switch, bro. Who knows? There's a myriad of things that could affect something like this. Could you imagine if that was actually it? Like, somebody just sneezed on a server and shorted it, or, somebody unplugged something to plug in their phone, bro. That dude would definitely be getting fired. Oracle also pointed to the company as a source of an issue which impacted some of the Oracle Cloud properties, but said its resources within the cloud service were not affected. The DNS system is like a phone book for websites. The technology figures out the right IP addresses to use when people try to go to individual websites. The Edge DNS server from the company takes care of this work for apps and websites and protects against DDoS attacks, which is basically when somebody floods a website with so much that it can't operate anymore, I think. And even then, not only were just like some major companies affected, right? Obviously, anything that was like directly using this website to host was affected. But beyond that, as it said, Oracle Cloud services were disrupted too, which means plenty of companies that pay Oracle to host their websites had interruptions too. So it's really not going to be clear just exactly how big the disruption was or how much business this kind of affected for a little bit, but it's looking it could be like quite some time. And what's insane to me is, especially because of COVID, like even taking down something like this for whatever it was, an hour, 15 minutes, I'm not exactly sure of the exact time, it can cause like a lot of money to just evaporate real quickly. Like, this is just an example. I don't know if this website was down. I don't think so. It's not on the list. But let's say PayPal is down for 5 minutes. If they're processing, millions and millions of dollars of transactions every minute, which I'm assuming they are, that's quite a bit of money that can't be spent not only on PayPal's bottom line hurting them, but also at the retailer. Like if somebody's going to use PayPal to buy a graphics card and then they can't, and so they decide not to buy it that day, whatever, change their mind, like that's just money not spent. So the digital economy is insane. Being able to take something offline, even for like a quote-unquote short period of time, can have some pretty far-reaching consequences, especially if you take off like a cloud service. Delta Airlines, British Airways, Capital One, GoDaddy, Vanguard, UPS, LastPass, at&t, and Costco were among the websites loading slowly or showing DNS failure Thursday afternoon. The outage caused some real-world disruptions. For example, Delta customers could not use the airline's website or app to check into flights until this company fixed the problem. See, like not even just the cloud service, bro, even further reaching than that. Imagine missing your flight, dude. Flights ain't cheap. Let's say you spend $700 on a flight across the country and you miss it because Delta's website doesn't work, bro. You'd have to be seeing red a little bit. I'm assuming they had like a way to just go to the counter and check in, but it would still be annoying to have to go do that if you're running late. And as I said, usually in these scenarios when something goes offline, it's like websites, that they're maybe a little bit big, like you might have heard of them, but they're not massive. Delta's a pretty massive company. That's a lot of money going back and forth to get taken offline and not be able to work. British Airways, same thing. Capital One, that's a huge bank. GoDaddy, I know they do a ton of, I don't know if they do hosting, but like most server names get bought from there, or website names, sorry. UPS? Oh, yeah, no big deal. Just the United States Postal Service. Oh, wait, no, that's USPS. UPS, that's the other shipper. Still, they're moving a lot of stuff around, not being able to track your order, not being able to get into the system and register orders being moved or being out of place. All these companies are massive, these like aren't little tiny things, which makes me think there might be something going on a little bit more than they're letting on here. Obviously, the company's like, what's the problem? What? No, and I'm not saying anything. I'm an idiot. Keep in mind, I'm just, a conspiracy theorist talking over Grand Theft Auto gameplay. But I would not be surprised if in the next couple days this develops into something a little bit more than just it going offline for like 5 minutes. I really do hope I'm wrong. Like, I really do genuinely hope I look like an absolute moron. That would be great. But just with everything that's been going on recently, that's my little conspiracy theory, is it's somehow linked to some of the other stuff that's been popping. And yeah, honestly, guys, that's it. I know this is a shorter video, but there's not really much else on the subject. I just figured I would talk about it because I just think it's crazy how much the internet seems to be getting messed with lately, stuff going offline and whatnot. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought, and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Big shout out to the members. You guys really do help out the channel a lot, and I appreciate it. If you really want to help out, you can become a member and use code Scrubae at the G Fuel checkout whenever you're getting some of the best energy drink for gamers. And yeah, other than that, be sure to get yourself some of the fantastic merch on screen now. It really is just the coolest merch to ever exist, and if you get it, you get superpowers. And yeah, on that note, that's going to do it for the video. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys